Hour.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Hour, the place where we discuss, debate and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, George, and today I'm just doing a cute little non-spoiler review for 28 Years Later. So those of you who may know, I am a huge 28 Days Later fan. Also really enjoy 28 Weeks for what it is, but it's, you know, not in the same league as 28 Years, although, and 28 Days, sorry, although it does have a pretty amazing opening. But yes, yesterday I went to go and see 28 Years Later, which it feels like I have been waiting 28 years for this film to come out, because I remember as a kid when I first watched like 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, and there was going to all this rumour of 28 months later, it's coming, it never came, and it depressed me. However, we now have it, and oh my god, was it worth the wait. 28 Years Later is one of the most insane movies I have ever witnessed. First of all, we all know about the iconic trailer, the boots aspect and all of that, which really just catapulted the movie into the internet age. Now, this is of course non-spoilers, but what I do want to do for those of you who are kind of, should I go and see it, should I not? I want to just give you a brief sort of... The movie is not what the trailer suggests. Now, I know a lot of people may be disappointed by that fact, but for me, it's perfect. In the sense that, excuse me, the film that we got is miles more creative, exciting, emotional than what I could have imagined from the trailer. The trailer definitely gives intensity, and don't get me wrong, there are some extremely intense moments in this film. However, this film definitely feels like more of a coming of age sort of drama movie, very much family orientated, people orientated, which I don't understand why people are surprised at. The fact that 28 Days Later was very much the same in that sense. Definitely very message, not heavy, I wouldn't say it's message heavy. The messaging is there, and when you can like see it and get it, it's like, oh, but it's not, you know, shoved down your throat messaging, which I really appreciated. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland's script is a really great way of, you know, bringing in real life moments. You know, I think this film is definitely of its time in terms of the story and what it's trying to portray. If you look at the world right now, specific areas and parts of the world and what's going on, you can definitely get a feel for why Garland kind of took that aspect and rolled with it. The acting in this is phenomenal. Jodie Comer, I know we always talk about like Oscars for the horrors. Jodie Comer's performance in this was fantastic, and obviously we're not surprised because she's fantastic in everything she does. But there was just like such a vulnerability to her character, and such a realism. It's definitely a, you know, when you look at something like Killing Eve, for example, very different character from that on the other end of the spectrum, I would say. And just like so perfectly written and also acted. I will say, maybe just bring some tissues in your bag just in case. As you probably all know, I am someone who cries at literally anything, so that's not surprising. But I will say there were moments in this film that I could literally hear people like in the audience crying too. So it made me feel better because I was between like two hench straight men and I was like, I don't want them to know I'm crying. So I was sort of like trying to wipe away the tears at times. Little Alfie, who plays Spike, is brilliant. So good, and I think it's so great that we're seeing a lot of these young British actors coming up in the world, especially after adolescence. I feel like it definitely kind of give not the same vibe at all in terms of the character, but just kind of how well the character is portrayed by the young actor, and I'm very much excited to kind of see what he does next. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is obviously great in this film too. Everyone loves Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and he's really good. I will say, if you're an Aaron Taylor-Johnson fan and you're going to see it because you think he's in this movie, he is, but he's not in a lot of the movie. He's in certain aspects of the movie, and so I think some people who are like massive Taylor Johnson fans will be like, did I see more of him? I think we'll be seeing more of him in the sequel, Bone Temple, which is, I'm so excited for. Neil DaCosta, oh my god, icon. But he does a really good job. Again, I think not necessarily he's overshadowed by Jodie and Alfie, but I just think those two give stellar performances. And of course, as well, Ralph Fiennes, phenomenal. His character in this film is so good, so like such a, just like so human in the sense that you just, I don't think there's that many characters like him in horror. And I just think that the scenes he is in and the scenes he shares with certain characters, again, I don't want to give too much away about the film if you haven't seen it, is just really beautiful and amazing. And I think, you know, it just goes to show how this, I think this year we've had some, like, if you think about Sinners and this, to me, are like, this year has been such an amazing time for just fantastic performances and amazing creative choices within horror movies. Not to say there hasn't been any before, but to go from watching Sinners, which of course Jack O'Connell is in this movie, and when he shows up, my god, you will remember it, because it's the most batshit thing I've ever seen. And yeah, it's just a lot. And again, I can't give too much away without spoiling it. If you do want to see a spoiler review, I'm definitely down to kind of get all my thoughts out and you know, fully develop it. But I just had to kind of come on and have this conversation about this movie because I've been so excited about it. This film definitely stays in tune to 28 days later. 28 weeks later is technically acknowledged twice, but 28 years later, but then also as well, 28 days later isn't necessarily, it's not like heavily mentioned, because of course those characters aren't in this film, but you can definitely see the stylistic choices. What I would say to you, if you're like, what is this film like? For those of you who've seen 28 Days Later, if you recall the scene, very quick scene in which they're driving in the taxi and it shows all of the flowers in the field with that filter and it looks quite like an art painting. This entire movie to me feels like you're going in, you've gone into an art gallery and you're watching a multimedia art installation. That's the only way I can describe this movie. The things that Danny Boyle and the rest of the team did with the cinematography, the direction, all of it is something that, and again, I'm not well up on lots of art house movies, so please, you know, if you've seen this movie and you're like, George, this isn't blah blah blah, let me know, and let me know some films that I should watch that are like that. But the stuff that they do in this film, I didn't think was possible with a camera, let alone the fact that some of it was shot with an iPhone. And those scenes, I don't know if you've all seen the picture that was going around with all of the iPhones on a rig like this with the infected person standing in the middle. When you see that scene in the movie is insane. I really love as well kind of how the infected are still terrifying. The infected are still there, and I loved the additional lore that they added with different types of infected and how the infection had, you know, sort of changed and evolved over the years. And that's important because obviously, you know, at the end of 28 days later, it's very much insinuated that the infected are dying off. However, here, and I think as well that is the case. Like, as I saw people being like, well, I thought they were all dead, how are they all black, blah blah blah. I think if you look at the end and you look at this film is basically saying, yes, some of them did die, but a lot of them didn't, because they evolved and learnt to, you know, eat other things and do things. And you definitely see a lot of it, and just the movement coaches and the movement that these actors are doing as the infected is sensational. The actor whose name I do not know, I'm so sorry, who plays one of the main infected in this movie, who we see a lot of. Let's just say that. You see a lot of him. He was phenomenal, terrifying, scary as hell. There's also just some crazy moments with the infected that you just would... I'm just like, it happened and I was like, I can't believe this is happening, but this makes total sense and it's perfect. I was like, there is one scene on a train that happens and I was just sat in the cinema like, this is fantastic. Absolutely adored it. I think this film is going to be definitely extremely divisive with audiences. For me, it was amazing. The soundtrack, by the way, absolutely killer. I've already been playing it like all day today. It just, everything I think you expect this film to be, it is not, and I think it's better for that. And then I also think as well, I'm so excited now to go, because I will say, it took me a minute, like when the film started, great opening by the way. I would have liked it to be a little bit longer, but it was great. I was just like, because I wasn't expecting it, I was like, oh, you know, it was quite almost like an attack on the senses with the visuals and the sound and everything that was happening was kind of like, oh, okay. And I think once I'd understood that was the vibe, I was like, as the film got on and there was more and more of this artistry on the screen, I was like, oh God, this is so good. And I'm so excited to go and see it again, because now that I know what the film is like, I can't wait to really just delve in and like pick apart all the different aspects of it and see all these different things. It just really is like such a great film. But I will say, yes, I think it's gonna be very divisive because it is not just a zombie movie. I will say as well, finally, because I was one of those people for a long time that was like, they're not zombies, they're infected. The Z word is used in this film. When it is used, it's actually quite hilarious. It's only used once, but it is really funny. And so yeah, so all those people are like, well, actually, they're not zombies, they're infected. Well, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland said otherwise. But again, it's kind of just like a throwaway line, so it is quite funny. It's not like they're not all going around like, we've got to kill these zombies. They're very much called the infected by the people who live there. I would say, if you want to see this film, well, first of all, I would say everybody should go and see this film. But I think if you just go in and think, okay, I'm about to see a film that is really pushing boundaries with the cinematography and the direction of the film, while still maintaining a beautiful, like, emotional script, dramatic script. To me, again, I'm obviously very biased in the sense that I love the original and I love Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, and them together. This was just like, I feel like Sony said to them, if you both come back, you can do whatever the F you want. That's what this film felt like. It felt like 28 Days Later was kind of like a prelude to this, and they were, you know, doing different aspects of cinematography and things like that. But then this is like, oh no, now we're just going to do whatever we want, and not in a bad way. I think there are some things in this, again, just so many things that as I was watching it on screen, I was like, what? Like, how? Like, things I just didn't expect to happen. And I think that is what's gonna draw the line, is if people are looking for a horror movie with zombies, then go and watch Dawn of the Dead. Do you know what I mean? Like the 2004 version. That's more like that classic. This, very much again, like 28 Days Later, is more about the people, the story. And I think, as I said, without going into too much spoilers, the story that it's telling through the eyes of our character, who is Spike, is very much something that is prevalent right now in this world. And if you just take a second to sit back and go, oh yeah, that's what it's about, it just so good, and you can just enjoy it even more so for that. So for me, this movie is a definite must watch. Again, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it is my whole fucking pot of tea. Let me tell you right now, I will be seeing this movie multiple times. I would advise you to go and see it on the big screen and try and see it quickly, because I think that we now live in a world where people just like to take videos and photos in the cinema like it's nothing, which I think is the most ridiculous thing. To be honest, the guy sitting next to me was on his phone for most of the film, and then like left going like, and I felt like turning around and punched him in the face, because I was like, you didn't even watch the film. So anyway, breathe, the rage is coming through, the rage virus is in me. But yes, I would advise this film. I think you can. I saw it in Dolby. It was to see on that huge screen was amazing. The visuals, the color, the contrast. There are some amazing moments that should be seen on the big screen. So I would advise you, if you're debating, should I wait for it to go on digital or should I go and see it in the cinema? Go and see it in the cinema. I mean, obviously I'll be watching it on digital every single day when it comes out, but just seeing it, and I would advise to go and see it on a premium screen like a Dolby screen, because just like with the sound and everything. It was beautiful. And again, there are scary parts. It's still a horror film, definitely. I was like jumping, but it's definitely just even more so. It's just, I think it's, again, I'm not like a huge, I haven't seen every single film under the sun, so I'm not going to sit here and say this is the first time this has been done, but I think it's the first time in a long time that we've had something so creative be pushed as a blockbuster, that's where I think the lines may blur in terms of who enjoys it and who doesn't. But with that said, it's definitely got my seal of approval. So then who else's seal of approval does it need if it's got mine? Absolutely no one's, because I am what? King. So please go and see this movie. If you have seen this movie, let me know in the comments below, no spoilers, what you thought of this film. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? If so, you know, was there any particular reasons you didn't enjoy it? Again, if you are going to say spoilers, try and make sure that you kind of space it, so if people are watching this, they don't get spoiled straight away. Don't be like, blah, 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 at the very beginning of your comment. Let me know what it's like. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't seen it, go and see it, please. It's 5 out of 5 for me. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's not going to be everyone's, but it was definitely mine. So thank you so much for watching my brain thought movement take place in this short 15-minute video. If you did want to see a longer spoiler review of this movie, again, let me know in the comments below, because I'll definitely be seeing this movie a couple of times this weekend again to kind of fully really get into the storylines. And again, I'd already made sort of notes about the story and thing, but I want to see it again now, fully knowing what this movie is about. So if you're interested in a spoiler review, then yes, maybe that's something that I can work on. But if not, that's absolutely fine. Just give us a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Also, if you do want to see even more content from the Horror Hour, we do have our Patreon, patreon.com/thehorrorhour, links in the description box below, where you can get early access to our episodes and also get the after hours episodes as well. So that'll be in the description box below. And yes, as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.